What's going on, guys? It's your boy the Markham Knight here. Today's video is going to be all about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, actually, this one's going to be about Justice League 2, because at the Dallas exhibit for Justice League, Zack Snyder did release the storyboards, the ideas, and the pitch that he had for Justice League 2. Now, do keep in mind this was written before Batman v Superman, so a lot of things are different now, and Zack Snyder said if he were to continue, it would be different, but he wanted to give everybody an idea of what the Snyderverse would have been like. So I am going to read this. It is going to be done in two parts because this was supposed to be two different movies. So I'm going to do the first movie and basically my ideas about it in this one, and then I'm going to do the second one in a video tomorrow. So let's get started. This part's called Justice League United. We open with the Justice League acting during a natural disaster. They're working as the efficient, powerful team they've become just weeks after Justice League. They act together, they save lives, but they're still refugees. So political tension is high, and the world is on edge. In the aftermath, the Justice League regroup at the only headquarters they know, the Batcave. Flash is enthusiastic, while Superman remains distant. At least with Batman, which makes sense. And Aquaman is facing a continued skepticism of the surface world. And he doesn't know whether his involvement by the people of Atlantis are going to be accepted well. And Wonder Woman can relate to this because her people abandoned the world long ago. And it's clear that although they're united, the world is not. The Justice League go back to their individual lives to mend old wounds, except for Batman, who's dealing with fresh ones left in this cave, all alone. This part's called Bruce and Lois. Bruce secretly meets with Lois, both of them still searching for Lex Luthor. There's tension between them since Superman has returned. The meeting ends after Lois tells Bruce that Superman needs her more than ever. Bruce knows Lois is hiding something else. Lex Luthor recording his own league. Meanwhile, deep in the Brazilian jungle, Lex locates Dr. Maru, which is Dr. Poison from Wonder Woman 2017. And she's still alive, experimenting on herself, prolonging her life, and testing new chemical weapons on unfortunate humans like lab rats. Like an obsessed stalker, she's been collecting artifacts and information on Diana and the Amazons, and now that she's revealed herself to the world as Wonder Woman, Lex offers her a chance at revenge. Same revenge she's trying to get on Superman and Batman. Maru accepts, and Lex smiles. Then let it begin. In the Atacama Desert, with Dr. Maru's help, Lex breaks out Orm, who's Ocean Master, Aquaman's brother, and Black Manta out of the desert prison where they were kept at the end of the Black Aquaman movie. Outside of the Central City, in Iron Heights Penitentiary, Lex finds Leonard Snart, who's Captain Cold. And that's where he was supposed to be left at the end of the Flash movie. Obviously, a lot of stuff is different here. And he offers Snart a chance at advancing his weaponry and making it something new, and taking down the fastest man alive. Now we get to see the Justice League returning to their lives. In Metropolis, Superman asks Lois when she was going to tell him. Tell you what, Clark? Superman says that he can hear the second heartbeat, and she shouldn't call him Clark. Clark is dead, and the world believes that too. Superman mistakes Lois's hesitation for fear. I won't hurt you, he says. The Justice League United. Oh, sorry. We went the other way on that one. Okay, at the Louvre in Paris, Diana and Penelope, who is the Amazon who is supposed to help her discover that Steppenwolf's making that plan, they discover that there might be a way to remember the path back to Themyscira. Diana must use the lasso on herself to unlock her mind. It's a dangerous process, but Diana wants to help her home. Diana wants to see her mother again, even though she might reject her. So Diana puts the lasso on, and she's suddenly overwhelmed by visions. In the beginning, these visions are wonderful. For the first time in over a century, Diana sees her home. She's soaring over the island, and she sees the Amazons, and finally, her mother. But then her visions grow dark. She sees herself as the god of war, and she's in a battle with Superman. And as she kills Superman, she cries out. Penelope frees Diana from the lasso, and despite the pain and confusion, Diana does remember the way home. In the Central City courthouse, Barry's at a hearing. Thanks to Cyborg, Iris, and a troop of lawyers from Wayne Enterprises, the state has examined new evidence that Barry and Vic presented, and they agree to reopen his case. Barry's elated. Along the underwater continental shelf, Aquaman and Mera are in a violent battle with the last of the Seven Kingdoms, the Unseen. It explodes around tidal pools and active lava flows. Arthur has the Seventh King on the ground and has tridents at his throat. The Seventh King tells Aquaman to kill him. Arthur says that he'd rather have an alliance, but the Seventh King refuses. Frustrated, Aquaman leaves, and the Last Kingdom refuses to unite. In the Batcave, Cyborg upgrades the cave, even providing a female artificial intelligence voice for Alfred, who has become kind of a father figure to him. Looking at the empty cave around them, Cyborg asks him, "Why is he never home?" Alfred responds, "Because then he'd have to face himself." This part's called Batman and Lois on the Hunt for Lex Luthor. Batman moves deep in the Canadian wilderness, following up on a lead that Lex may have been sighted in one of the remote towns. He fights his way through a secret location, only to discover that not Lex Luthor is hiding out, but it's the Riddler. Awake for days, maybe weeks, Riddler has long, unkempt beard. His fingers are dirty. His rantings are written all across the cabin, all across the walls. Looking at Batman, like a man possessed, he says, "Luthor asked the question. I had to know the answer." Then we see Lois, who's on the hunt for Luthor. She's located Dr. Maru's lair in the Brazilian jungle, and she writes everything in her journal, keeping it offline and private. She grows pale as she realizes who Dr. Maru is and what Lex might be up to. He's forming a team of his own. Back in the Canadian wilderness, Batman faces off against the Riddler. He tells Batman about how Lex came to him for information. Lex presented the anti-life equation, the riddle of life itself, and the Riddler has solved it. He knows what it can do, and once it's unlocked, Lex will make life meaningless. Riddler raises a gun, but he points it at his own head. Time to solve the last riddle. Blam! Batman's shocked as Riddler shoots himself. This part's called The Justice League Members Unite with Their Families. Wonder Woman and Penelope arrive at Themyscira. Diana's unsure of what her mother's reaction will be, but a tearful and overjoyed Hippolyta embraces her. The Queen declares that this will be a celebration like none other seen in Amazon history. Her daughter is home. In the oceans, Aquaman and Mera bring the final kingdom of the Seven, the Unseen, back into their alliance. For the first time since Atlantis sank, it is now again united. In Central City, for the first time since he was a kid, there is no wall of glass between Barry and his father. Henry Allen is released from prison, exonerated. Barry is about to tell his father who he is. In Metropolis, Lois returns to Superman, tells him that she will accept that Clark is gone, but she still has to go, because she's on the trail for Lex. In Gotham, returns to the wilderness, shaken by Riddler's proclamation. And then we also see Lois discovering from General Swanwick, which was the general from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, that Lex has the 3 mother boxes. "Oh no," she says. Lex activates his plan. At the Three Rivers, helicopters survey the area. Lex is on the scene. His team elsewhere, but in contact with him. Lex activates the boxes. His true plan, to destroy the Justice League and take the secret power called the anti-life equation for his own. It will give him the power over all living life. The anti-life equation glows as Lex turns on the boxes. Cyborg blinks, feeling a horrible emptiness as the influx of data stops for the first time since he went online. A boom tube erupts in front of Lex, surprising him. Emerging from the portal is Darkseid, the horrific, sadistic servant of his master, Darkseid, who emerges behind him. Darkseid takes the power of the anti-life equation for himself. Superman versus Darkseid. This is cool. In the Batcave, Batman, Superman, and Lois regroup. They learn of Darkseid's arrival. Superman tells Batman that this fight is amongst the gods. "She's my world," he tells Bruce. "Protect her." Superman flies off to confront Darkseid. After Superman leaves, Bruce and Lois argue. Bruce knows she's pregnant. Lois ends the argument by telling Bruce, "You are not the father." Okay. She tries to tell Bruce about what she's discovered with what Lex is planning, but he won't listen after she's told him he's not the father. At the Three Rivers, taking in Darkseid's arrival, Lex tells Darkseid that Darkseid has the power to kill Superman. Darkseid moves forward, acknowledging Lex. He says to Lex, "I don't want him dead. I want Superman to submit." "The girl," says Lex. "She's the key to breaking his spirit." Superman arrives, and a battle with Darkseid erupts. But Darkseid booms to Lois, the Batcave collapsing around her, and Batman at his arrival. Bruce looks down at Darkseid and Lois from behind the glass wall above. Darkseid stares at Lois. Bruce is overwhelmed. What can he do? Superman flies in at an incredible speed to Gotham. He arrives just in time to see Darkseid unleash his Omega beams from his eyes, turning Lois to ash. Superman cries out. His soul shatters. Grief-stricken, he moves to tear Darkseid apart, but Darkseid gazes at him. The power of the anti-life equation coursing through his veins. Superman stops. his mind infected by Darkseid. Bruce watches it all in horror. Superman grabs his head in pain, eyes burning. The Justice League under attack. Before Lois is about to warn everyone, Lex signals for his team to attack. On Themyscira, Dr. Maru unleashes the chemical gas that covers the island and kills the Amazons. Even Diana, who dies in her mother's arms. Maru dies herself, a sick and twisted smile on her face. In Atlantis, Orm and Black Manta attack the coronation, killing Arthur, Mira barely surviving herself, a cut across her face. In Central City, Captain Cold attacks Flash with his amped up weapons, courtesy of Lex Luthor. Cyborg is blown apart, saving Barry, losing his lower half. Back at the Batcave, Batman watches in horror as Darkseid takes full control of Superman. Superman turns on Batman, and he barely escapes. Lex believes he's won. He's come face to face with Superman. He looks at Lex with burning red eyes and lights him on fire. As Lex screams, the world goes red and cuts to 5 years later. Sand dunes, smoldering solar pits, Gothic spires rising from the desert. Once, this was Gotham. Now, like the rest of the world, it belongs to Darkseid. Coming over the dune, post-apocalyptic Batman, as seen in Batman v Superman, with a ragtag army of rebels, the surviving members of the Justice League, walk over to the rise of the dune, seen from the dilapidated Wayne Manor. Batman leads them. Flash drags what's left of Cyborg behind him. Bruce looks up into the sky grimly. We need to get inside before night. He's coming. And that is the end of part 1. So that is the first part of the Justice League 2 movie that was supposed to be a movie onto its own. Now there is a lot of cool stuff here. There's so much to unpack, but I do think a kind of take-home point for me, the part that I didn't like, because I loved a lot of the parts here, but the part that I didn't like was, Batman, you are not the father. It felt like Maury Povich was reading that out. It was not. That was the one thing that didn't click for me. Batman and Lois should not be a thing. It should not have happened for Lois to kind of do that behind Superman's back while he's dead. Like, I get it, he's dead, but how quickly was he dead? How long was he dead before she moved on with Bruce? I didn't like that part of it, but otherwise, everything is very cool. We get to see the Injustice League. Lex gathers them all together. We get to see showdowns all throughout. Superman versus Darkseid sounds like it would have been really, really cool. Superman obviously goes to his evil mode, which is the one that we saw him in Batman v Superman, and obviously this is that nightmare scene that we saw in Batman v Superman come to life. So basically, if Snyder got to get his whole vision, he would have made that whole nightmare scene become reality, and that's how it happened. That's how we got to the nightmare scene. Now the next movie is supposed to take place entirely in the nightmare realm, not realm, but the nightmare timeline, so we would get to see a lot more of that. Now it's interesting because there is a lot that changed of this, because obviously this was written before Batman v Superman, so a lot of stuff's different. Like, obviously we didn't get the Flash movie and all this stuff, so a lot of things have changed. But how much of it has changed, and how much of this will we see in Zack Snyder's Justice League on Thursday? I'm very, very excited. I'm so ready to do this second video for tomorrow for the second part of the movie and figure out how this thing ends. Anyways, guys, you heard all this. You were here with me reading it. Tell me what you think.
This is the Markham Knight, and I need you to like, comment, and subscribe.